Hey Leo, this is Michael with your September 2022 reading. I hope this finds you well. I already have your cards here on the table, but real quick before we dive into that, I just want to thank all of you who support this channel with your likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. It really is with all of your support that I can continue putting out this content and these videos and these messages, which is just such a gift. So genuinely, thank you so much. I am very curious to kind of break this down. I just sort of pulled the cards and was connecting with your energy, so I'm also sort of interpreting these. I think it just saves time to kind of have them all on the table. But the first card that I had for you is the Hierophant. And this is very interesting because this can represent spiritual mastery or spiritual growth. That's really what I'm getting here. I also do get something about you feeling bound by tradition or bound at work. There's been a lot going on at work for you actually this year. And really, Leo, you've been going through a lot of sort of challenging energies. I'm going to be blunt. 2022 has not been easy for people with Leo placements. And at times it can even feel like there's just all of these things being handed to you at once. And it kind of reminds me of the Ten of Wands, carrying a lot of burdens, carrying this heavy weight, and needing to delegate or needing to prioritize what you can. That's been hugely thematic for the collective, but I think especially for you, the astrology has just kind of hit you in a really interesting way, and in kind of the main platforms of your life too, because it's been your relationships, it's been your home, it's been your work, it's also been your identity kind of squaring off with all of this. And I feel like a lot of you have just felt like this island, and you are trying to figure out where you belong or who you are or what you're supposed to be doing. And it's interesting with the Hierophant, there is this energy of like, you've had this sort of spiritual awakening, or there is this spiritual awakening that you're going through, and yet you're in the Hanged Man energy and the Wheel of Fortune energy. It's like, you know, things have to shift, you know things are going to change, but when and how, it still feels like you don't know. You don't know. And the energy of September astrologically is also a lot about you questioning your own mind. And there's almost this prison of the mind, actually, with the Eight of Swords and the Strength card, which is interestingly your card, Fortitude or Strength, that represents Leo energy. We have Mercury going retrograde in the sign of Libra, which is the part of your psyche that represents your conscious mind, your communication, the way you interact with your immediate surroundings and environment, and even potentially your siblings. So there might be stuff coming up with siblings this month as well. But when Mercury goes retrograde, there can be miscommunications, there can be disruptions, and it's almost reminding us that we need to be open to the element of surprise. Mercury likes to keep us on our toes. And it's also going to show us the areas of our life that aren't working. And for you, this has to do with thoughts and the way that you communicate or express yourself. And that could feel quite entrapping in some way, because it's like when you're almost in this place of like, how do I communicate? How do I get my point across? How do I reach this person? It can feel very stuck in yourself, which is quite literally what I am seeing for Leo this month. And again, that kind of makes sense. And then right after Mercury goes retrograde, we do have a full moon in the sign of Pisces. And this is quite interesting. Pisces is kind of this mysterious energy for you. It's definitely a time to do some shadow work. I will say that, because Pisces is the part of your psyche that is your 8th house, which basically translates as the things that you usually keep hidden. And there's not really an easy way to explain what the 8th house is, because it can pertain to finances, specifically your investments, debts. It can also be sexuality, spirituality, the occult, more specifically, as well as magic. There's a lot here where you're kind of shining a light on things that are ordinarily kept in the dark. And there is a very intuitive energy here again, with the Hierophant and even the Hanged Man. This represents Pisces. But this energy could also be you feeling very stuck as well. And it's almost like you might have created a life with the Emperor in reverse that's like a comfortable prison. And I really want you to ask if that is you. It might not be. This is a general reading, but a lot of you who I'm connecting with right now, you've created a life that is based off of meeting the needs and expectations of life rather than meeting your own. And in that process, you may have a life where you are just sort of treating yourself, which, I mean, everyone should do that. We all need to take care of ourselves. It's an important part of self-care. I don't mean to bash that or dissuade you from that. But it's like, if you're living to just buy your relaxation or to buy your rewards, I feel like there's a sense of feeling stuck in that and feeling disillusioned in that. I do get the sense, too, that there could be some sort of control going on with the Emperor in reverse here. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is talking about your job, just because there's been so much focus on career for you, especially with kind of this focus with Uranus in the sign of Taurus, which represents your career and your public image and your role in the world. We also have Uranus going retrograde right now. And this has kind of taken some of this seismic activity, and now it's becoming more about shifting internally. And so this could very well be part of these internal shifts, and it's like, you need to be making some changes in your life. I do also get some stuff with relationships as well that feels a little bit like you need to work some things out. And again, like 2022 has just been a crazy year for you, Leo. There's been so much focus on all the big parts of your life, relationships, home, career, and how you fit into all of that. But I am really looking at this Lovers with the Devil and the 5 of Cups in reverse here. And I mean, whenever I see lovers and devils, like regardless of the situation, I often do think of codependency or insecure attachment styles. That can also look like avoidance too. That could be a theme that's coming up for you a lot. And I mean, that's just kind of been what the past few years have really been focused on. If you have any sort of unresolved patterns playing out in your relationships, they have definitely come to the forefront because we have Saturn in your opposite sign in Aquarius. I really feel like we need to do some shadow work here. And again, I think I almost feel like the reading was done when I said that. Where it's like you're kind of questioning your own mind. You're doubting your own mind in the way that you're communicating. And feeling stuck inside yourself. And needing to do this work to really unpack all of it. And how you've sort of created a life that isn't actually what you want. Even if you thought it was. It's almost like you wanted certain things because that's what you needed to be okay with your life as it is. And that can very well be involving relationships for some of you. Let me tune into this a little more. Can we please get clarification on the Lovers, Devil in reverse, and the 5 of Cups? We have the 9 of Cups. A lot of you are focusing more on your own personal happiness, and you're not compromising that for the sake of a relationship anymore. Some of you might even be choosing happiness. I really do feel like, again, this is a message only for some of you, or maybe this is energy from the past, but I really do get this energy of like a controlling figure, specifically controlling masculine energy. And maybe even someone who has some sort of financial, like financial abuse, some sort of financial hold on you. Like, I can't leave this person or this situation because it could be a work situation. Because financially it doesn't make a lot of sense right now. And I think... Ooh, I just got like a wave of dizziness there. Let's clarify some of this a little more. Knight of Coins. So there's a difference between steady progress and stagnant progress. I think some of you feel stagnant and stuck, and you need to be making strides towards things, even if it's small steps, especially as we are kind of winding into the end of the year. It's going to be really important that you start taking practical steps towards wellness and health. If you feel stuck right now, I just feel like there's a lot of assurance you will get out of a situation that feels confining to you. It's going to be work. I'm going to be honest. But it's almost like more work trying to stay in a situation, trying to stay in an energy. I'm curious about this Wheel of Fortune and the Hanged Man. Can we get a little more clarity there? We have the Star. The Star is actually showing up in reverse, but it's like, again, just confirmation to what I've been saying. It feels like a lot of you have tapped into this knowing. Something needs to be different. There's more to this life than this. There's more to life than this job or this relationship or all of this. All of these combination, this combination of all of these things or more. And I apologize if my words have been a little jumbled. I am very sensitive to Mercury retrogrades, being a Virgo, and I feel like my words are almost like underwater and just very jarbled and hard to understand. So thank you for bearing with me on this. But I feel like there's this spiritual calling and you don't know how to get there right now. And when I actually see the Strength card and the Eight of Swords, I actually almost see this energy of gritting your teeth and just enduring. Because the Strength card ordinarily kind of talks about composure and self-restraint, especially over kind of these big emotions, these lion-like emotions. And I'm actually getting a very interesting interpretation here with the Strength card or Fortitude card in reverse. It's almost like you've been holding on too hard. You've been repressing something too much, and now you're feeling stuck. Let's get some more advice, kind of coming from the animal cards here. They're very good teachers for messages and lessons to move through our lives. We have the Crow, speaking your truth, trusting your intuition, and finding the people who won't shun you for your darkness. I'm thinking of that murder of crows or that conspiracy of ravens. Almost like finding witchy people or people who are like you. Trust your intuition. Again, there is a very intuitive feel here right now. What else do we have? What else do we have for advice? We do have the Whale. I'm going to keep shuffling. I don't think this is the card, but Whale does kind of speak of needing to come up for air. So again, that's kind of a message that I'm getting for some of you. Giving yourself some time away, even if you are in your element, like the Whale is. Yeah, we have Dragonfly. This makes a lot more sense. I feel like your mind is very back and forth, and that could be especially true as Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Libra through the 9th to the 23rd. And it's very important to do this breath work to calm your mind and to pay attention to your emotions and how your emotions can color your thoughts, and vice versa, how your thoughts can color your emotions. And almost finding that stillness to tap into your intuition. Because if you're trying to figure things out and intuit from a very frightened or frenetic or anxious place, it's almost like you're just going to be in this hallway of mirrors where you're having all of these anxieties and fears reflected back at you. And that's why it can be very hard to read for yourself, actually. Because a lot of the time when we're reading, we're already in a disrupted state. Because we're asking about something that's really close to our heart. And so really try and find the center. Dragonfly is also the master of changing directions. And if you feel stuck in your life, you don't have to be. You can always change directions. You can always change path. It's never too late, so long as you're alive. You're able to do something to shift your perspective. And Dragonfly, with these compound eyes, seeing things from many angles, is also a lot about perspective. Is there anything else? I am getting Vulture. Just at the bottom of the deck here. Interesting, there's also the Unicorn card, which is the third eye. But Vulture, I very much think of as finding nourishment in times of darkness or loss. Finding the silver lining in endings. And Vulture is also very important because it does help keep ecosystems healthy by preventing the spread of disease and almost being part of this cycle, this natural cycle of life and death. And again, with this Pisces full moon, some of you really are connecting into this energy. This could be this kind of intuitive point for you this month. The Pisces full moon on the 10th, when it is coming together with Neptune. And I do feel like there is a need to cleanse. And again, taking care of your body. I feel like that's really, really important. When I think of Vulture, I actually do think of Virgo energy. And I know a lot of people would think Scorpio energy. But the way that this card is described and the role that Vulture actually fills, Virgo represents the intestines. It represents digestion. And Virgo is the sign that takes things through its very being, its very sensitive being, and extracts nourishment and discards what is no longer in alignment or what is no longer needed. So there is this like kind of dual message about taking something in, taking the world in, finding nourishment in that, and also releasing it. And I'm feeling like that's very much how this Virgo season is feeling for you. And I feel like financially, too, things could be a little bit strained as well. And we talked about that, actually. I kind of forgot. Kind of ties into the astrology with Virgo season, and then Virgo, or Mercury going back into Virgo on the 23rd, Mercury retrograde in specific. And I think this new moon that we have in Libra towards the end of this month is actually a really good time for you to use affirmations, specifically because it's in Libra, and for you, that part of your psyche revolves around communication, your conscious mind. Shifting your perspective. The end of the month is a really good time to shift perspective and maybe see the silver lining in the darkness. That is what this shifted perspective is about. And I feel like you are building something. You are tapping into this Virgo energy, and it is helping you build something ultimately sustainable to you. And sustainable doesn't look like gritting your teeth and dreading your job and going day after day, month after month, year after year like that. I feel like some of you are going to be making a change there. And you're committing to what you love. And almost like reconnecting to a passion. And more so than even changing your job, it feels like you're changing your field or your career overall. And maybe that is more spiritually or creatively aligned for you. And I'm specifically getting a lot of writing. I don't know if you are writers, but if you are, I also kind of want to encourage you to do something like National Novel Writing Month in November. Maybe put that on the radar. I'm just getting a lot of things with writing, although I'm actually getting more specifically like poetry and short form writing, but I feel like I'm connecting to a lot of writers, a lot of creative writers with this group. And you can use writing to manifest too, and write things out like you already have them, and what it's like, and what you're trying to experience more in your life. And I think putting things in writing in this new moon in Libra at the end of this month is going to be a great time to do that. And to really practice your magic in that way. Anyways, those are all the messages I have for you this month, Leo. I hope that this was helpful. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, especially if you've made it this far into the video. If something didn't quite resonate or you just like greater clarity, you are more than welcome to check out your moon or rising sign videos. There may be something there for you as well. And I will see you all next time. I'm wishing you a blessed and safe September. I'm sending you all my love your way. Take care, Leo.